Okay, we're Code for Anchorage Brigade. My name is Matt Doan. We got Mike, Shannon, Hans. Brendan's out there in the crowd too. This is Trails. This is an umbrella of projects related to trails and trail data within the state of Alaska. So kind of the first big high-level kind of thing that we've been working on as a Code for Anchorage Brigade is tackling the concept of multiple disparate data sources for trails within the state. So we have places like the Municipality of Anchorage, the Fairbanks North Borough, DNR, Mat-Su Borough. All these places, they have surveyed and mapped their trail systems, and they have all put that data out there generally for people to work with. However, all of those data are in different formats. They have different attributes attached to them, like things like it's a hiking trail, or it's a mountain bike trail, or ski, location, or whatever. So part of what our first effort with the trail data is to consolidate this and kind of massage it into a standardized, uniform data set that is also flexible and able to take in new data streams and new data sources and hopefully be something that's flexible for long-term application. So we have also developed a number of client applications that work with this data, and I will trade places with these guys to let them chat about it. I won't talk too much about the actual application itself. We have a public GitHub repository that basically takes this input data, squirts out this standardized data set. It's a simple set of scripts. It leverages a lot of existing tools. We did not do anything new or build any new crazy infrastructure or algorithms or anything to work with this data. We just use tools that were out there and standards.
And the scope of it is, right now we have something like,
You should go for
do more pointing at me actually. The scope of it is something like half a dozen data sources right now from the ones that Matt mentioned. They're in proprietary formats. Part of what we're trying to do is harmonize the data, but also get it down to something that all clients could hit. So GeoJSON is kind of like the text-based lowest common denominator format for geodata. So that's what we're getting to. We're routing down to that. And, I mean, to give you an idea of the scope, we've got 5 or 6 data sets. We're funneling it down to a series of files, text files. The biggest one that kind of encompasses everything is, I think, about 14 megabytes. So that's, and if you look at one of these files, you just see numbers. It's all numbers, basically, because they're all points. It's all geo points. So big double precision numbers. And so essentially, that's kind of like the size of the breadbox for this area in Alaska. It's got the municipality, Chugach, some of Hatcher Pass, some of Mat-Su, and so on. So there's a lot more than that. I mean, I think that we'd probably end up with triple that if we were exhaustive and got everything into Kenai and everything like that. But that's where we are. So cleaning and harmonizing is a big part of what we're trying to do. So we have ideas for downstream clients. So what Shannon and I worked on this weekend is essentially a mobile web app that you can take out on your phone and almost like Wikipedia for trails. The idea is, here I am. I can tap on a trail and see what we know about it, and then change it and save it. Let's see if this thing will come back. Oh. So, you want to give a demo? I'll give a demo. You talk.
Sure. Okay.
This is Shannon.
So, basically, kind of what is going on here, we had to make sure that the maps were small enough, like the data wasn't going to clog up the browser, but that you could at least see enough of the map to kind of understand where you were. And then we put in the different types of usages, the summer usage and the winter usage. And you put in comments, and then for pictures, we have something for pictures. And then when you save it, it actually goes to a service, a cloud service called Parser. Parse, yeah.
So that just wrote a record to parse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're running this without a server, which is, I think, one of the cool things about it is that this is literally a static page that's being hosted, but it's doing some dynamic stuff by leveraging parse, and it's all doing that through the API in the browser. So it's kind of a completely no footprint way to get something up there, which is kind of cool. I thought.
And you guys seeded this off of the initial project.
Yeah, so all the clean data, we seeded it from that. So that's what we're looking at right now. This is the coastal trail. This is what we know about the coastal trail. And I think this is actually probably right. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. We've got flags for how you can use the trail. It differs by winter and summer. If we go to some place that's, if we sort of scroll down the coast, you can see keeping this app responsive was probably the biggest technical challenge because with 14 meg of geodata, you obviously can't load it all at once. So being able to kind of judiciously grab it, you can see how it's sort of flowing in. It's attempting to be intelligent about picking what it retrieves. This is Kincaid Park. Here's
7 million trails.
Margot's Loop. Yeah. Yeah, and right now we're just drawing them all in green. I mean, it would make a lot more sense to have the single track look different, but this is really just to prove the point. So this is Margot's Loop, something that is a cross-country ski trail. So in the winter, it's ski only, as the signs tell you. And in the summer, you can do whatever you want, but you got to have your dog on a leash. Well, sort of do. And we have this is a squiggly one, so I know for a fact that's a single track bowling alley. So it doesn't have a ski mode or ski difficulty. That makes sense. We don't want people walking on that because you get mowed down by one of those bikers like I almost did the other day. And in the winter, it's a bike only. So at any rate, I think we've got pretty good data right now. I mean, I think we're like at the 90% level. It's good enough to say, cool, let's deploy some clients with this thing and try to get it in the hands of people because I think it actually is at the level of being helpful.
Oh, and also, you guys have some lighting information in there too, which is pretty cool.
We do. Yeah.
And just to comment as well, those things like lighting or the ski mode or whatnot, those are bits of information that really vary from upstream source to upstream source. So that is part of what this whole attempt is, to unify that and either infer some of that information based on whatever upstream data exists or pull in whatever kind of intrinsic or folk knowledge that we can.
Exactly.
And kind of like save that somehow, codify that in a manner that is reproducible. Yeah.
Do you record directional information on trails? I mean, so we have we have lots of one-way trails.
We do. We have a field for it. It's not something that is in any of the source systems, so it needs to be put in. So you can see there's a field right there, direction. By default, everything's two-way. These are there's two-way, one-way. One-way means going the direction of the points. Reverse means going the other way. There really needs to be at least one more there because there are some single-track trails that are one direction on even days.
Right.
The other, at any rate. So it gets complicated, actually.
And do you on the ski trails? Do you record? Do you get down to the level where you're recording? The skate and classic or classic only?
We do. Yeah. So let's see. Which one's this? Margot's Loop. Ski mode is both. There aren't going to be any skate only. I don't believe it's. But there are classic ones. Are there skate only?
I don't think there's any skate only.
So there are definitely classic only out at the lake here. Well, that's above. That should say classic. I know why it doesn't. It's because it's actually got a lowercase c, so it's not hitting. So that's a fix. But yeah, that's in the data source. So the Muni actually had that stuff, which is pretty slick.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if they actually tracked that or not.
So the whole point of this is to get good data so that we can feed it to people that are actually out on the trails having fun. So that's one of the things that Hans is looking at. You want to talk about trails real quick?
Sure, let me just
Yeah.
How many trails on the interface you have here, Mike? Or I guess it'll show up in Hans. Is it the same data set for trails?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
So you guys have Anchorage, or what do you have in the thing you were showing? What
All
trails
Muni.
you have?
So that's all the major parks around town, all the way down to Girdwood. We have, that includes all the single track and stuff that's down in the park. We have a Matsu data source, which has some Hatcher Pass, and it has like, we've got all Eagle River and Chugiak, and we've got, I mean, it's basically, Chugach, we got the main trails in Chugach.
There's like 5,000 trail segments, I think, at last count, give or take.
Yeah.
And that's things like the coastal trail right now are mapped as, I think the coastal trail is like 50 segments. I don't.
Where a segment is not a straight line, a segment is a polyline, and 50 of them. So I mean, the coastal trail has a lot of little pieces to it.
Yeah, so what I work on is more of the Prometheus app that we've been working on together. We got started working and getting really interested in trails, I think about mid-August, and basically these guys have had all these great ideas, and I've been trying to work with kind of a clone of what was existing before in the Code for America project and apply for Anchorage. So, and also this we can help put on the sugary things with comments and images of trails and things for the database. So this is called Trailsing, and it's up right now at trail-hunter.heroku.com. And I'm still adding a lot of stuff to it, but you can. It right now has 409 trails that go all the way up to Talkeetna and all the way to Portage, and you can use it, I think, right now mostly to explore a lot of trails. If you've been local here for a while, there's still a ton of trails that I've never heard about that look really interesting. And another great feature of this is it hooks up with Google Maps, and you can hit get directions, and it'll bring up how to get to whatever trailhead you're getting to pretty quickly. Let's see. Yeah, there's still a lot of features that I'd like to add. Namely, subsetting by distance of the trail that you'd like to do. If you want to do a marathon length trail, you want to do a little handicap trail if you're working with your grandparents or whatever. And then also hooking up with subsetting by use and getting the images in. One thing that, this is kind of a side project, this is just like another cherry that I've been playing with, is these things called photospheres. You know, Google Street Maps, you can like work around it, you know, play with that. Well, you know, if you have like an Android or an iPhone, you can take those right now and they'll stitch together. And so I've been playing around with that. And I want to work those into the app. And here's just an example of Cuddy Park, one that I took yesterday, just for fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. Did someone jump in and photobomb your
Yeah,
spirit there?
that's my girlfriend, Laura. So, anyway. Yeah, and so I've been taking these and posting them on Google, and I'm trying to find a way to just like put them in the description. So if you wanted to like get just like a quick view of the trail, that'd be a fun little thing.
Do you know, what is it? There's like a post that you can I can't remember. It's where you can actually like put the images and tag them in the geolocation.
Pictorama?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it
That
Pictorama?
one.
It's been around a while.
Well,
Yeah.
these photospheres are tagged. They have a geotag too. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Have you considered adding photospheres to maybe like the trailheads that are on the trail? Because I know I've been in like deep wood sections. I'm like, oh, is this it? There's no sign, but there's a dirt trail right here. And then you end up at some waterfall, and you're like, this is cool, but I'm lost.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Right now, the photosphere is just kind of general for the trail, like where I thought it would be kind of like a great representation of the trail. Yeah. There is another thing that I thought was really cool. I just want to talk about real quick called Google Cardboard, where you can like hook in and do VR with a photosphere, and it like costs like $5, and it's like this little thing. Anyway, I brought it if you want to check it out with the photospheres I've taken. Anyway, do we have anything else to talk about that?
This is cool. I kind of want to. I want you to make Google Trail View instead of Google Street View. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think Google's been trying to work on like basically the Google car, but into like a backpack form.
Oh, really? It's not like an all-terrain Segway?
No.
You know, you go to Machu Picchu or something with it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
There's a Google Street View of the border. If you've ever gone here, and you can like.
That's done with this. That's done with the photosphere.
Yeah.
There's actually one of the like coworkers here. He has a business doing this. Use the panorama. He's got a postcard on the.
I've talked to him. He can take like one in a single picture, which would be awesome if you could like hook that to like a bike helmet and then just like ride your bike and then have it.
There's actually a
10
low-cost
GoPros.
camera
Edit out when you go.
that just came out.
Edit out when you're upside
Polaroid, I
down.
want to say, and I think they had the option where it was like multi-faceted with multiple little cameras on it. But there's also a digital company up here that was doing some contracting for Google doing some of that geospatial photography. So there's like definitely a few connections there to do that.
Yeah, if you get it
Also,
going, let me know. I've always wanted to get one of the point gray cameras that is a complete photosphere video camera. That'd be cool.
Well, let me just put it out right now. If you guys are all around Anchorage and you're on a trail and you have your app, take a photosphere, send it to me so that I can add it in. Because if we can crowdsource this right now, that'd be awesome.
That would be totally cool, because like, I mean, like he was saying, like getting lost on the trails, and then I think it would actually work with search and rescue too, because people get, like out of towners sometimes get lost in flat top, so it'd be nice to.
That's a really good idea. Where am I?
Yeah, there are definitely connections for there's a safety angle with this. I think that you obviously have to have your data of a certain quality in order to claim that it makes you safer, not less safe. So that's kind of what we're focusing on right now. But if we get to that point, that's a big one.
That's awesome. Thank you guys.
So, did I see that there was a trail hookup for parasailing?
There's
What?
no trail hook or trail.
Okay, I thought I saw that. It's just a little icon. My eyes are
I think
bad.
it's a lamp.
Oh, sorry, that was a lamp. Yeah, that's for good for
That's my
lighted.
bad
Oh, okay.
graphics there. You can leave them on.
Because that would be one of those danger zones where if you accidentally click it, you're walking off a cliff. So try to look up when you're using the GPS, guys.
So what's the URL for that right there?
Trail-hunter is a portal name. Trail-hunter.heroku, Heroku.
I know, I tried looking, yeah. That's right.
Heroku app.
And it's really only for desktop. It fails.
So there's not.
Yeah, that's what the next stage is really for.
If you go to Duda Mobile, that's like the fastest way to turn something into, and it's free.
Okay.
And there's a paid version, but Duda Mobile, it literally scans your site for you and then makes it mobile.
What's it called?
Duda Mobile.
Duda?
Yeah, DUDA Mobile.
Yeah, these
It's
names.
like an instantaneous mobile app for your
Yeah, but no
website.
documents. Okay.
And you can pull things out and put things in if you want. You can go back through and edit it, and you can customize
All right,
it.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Thank you.